No, just use the mouse, dude.
Okay.
Is it live?
Wow.
Yeah, you have to click.
We're rolling.
Yeah. And then click this.
You it live. Oh
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nerdbuzzed.
Nerdbuzzed doesn't condone the consumption of alcohol by any persons under the age of 21. Please drink responsibly.
Top chat, right? Hey, welcome to Nerdbuzzed, the podcast where we talk about all the nerdy stuff that we care about and drink a cool frosty brew while we're doing it. I'm your host, Marcus Ellinger, and with me for every single episode, you can only hear him, but we tried our best to get a video in here, guys. Sorry that we'll hopefully have that figured out next episode.
Nailed it.
It's totally Jack's fault. Jeremiah's right.
It's
First
not
comment.
even my fault.
Yeah, it
I
is.
came in and he was struggling. I helped him out.
It's
He couldn't figure it out.
okay. You're right. It was both of our
Oh my
faults. I'm gonna
God.
blame it on everybody here. I think it was a team effort. We all screwed up.
Go team!
No.
It's true.
But joining me once again, they're here for every single episode that we do. We have at Impinator Mick Petit tit with like 25 T's.
Yep.
The host of the stupid Mystic.
No,
Miracle?
that's not even the
Mushroom?
right title.
It's
Marcus,
right here.
stupid Marcus for
It's
us.
right here. We got the cheat sheet.
And with him, we also have at Slade Steel, Gary Webb, one of our good buddies. We play games together and do all sorts of nerdy stuff. Please fix all of my faux pas on where people can find you, Mick.
Yeah, you can find us at stupidmythicforest.com. Well, I guess the website's kind of down right now, but you can still go there. And on Twitter at officialsmf, as well as on Instagram at stupidmythicforest.
And like I said, Gary's on Twitter also as at Slade Steel Soul.
Slade.
I recommend that everybody go there and give these guys a hard time. It's one of my favorite things to do. I enjoy getting a hard time back from them. So please do that.
Sure you do.
Right.
That was a weird one.
And so first off, I do want to make sure to tell everybody that this is a whole new year, and we'd love to get some more followers and subscribers. Subscribers.
Not die.
So please mash that subscribe button. Tell your friends. Get involved with the show, please. We would
Yeah.
love to hear some comments, and I have some ideas to maybe find some ways to get some more people involved. So I'm going to talk with Jack about that after the show because all the decisions are up to him. So anything that
Yep.
goes wrong, that's why we blame Jack.
Dang it.
It's all on
Okay.
his
I
shoulders.
don't think you can legally sell Jack.
And I need to figure out how to put a Discord
By the way,
in the
this
link.
is our intern. Jack, introduce yourself.
Oh, well,
We never introduced you, so do it.
I'm Jack. I've been on the show like almost every episode for
Yeah, he's
for
the
a couple
only
years.
one that's not here all the time.
Oh my god.
Right.
Well, I have school. I have class.
He does. He
Not
has
on
a life.
Saturdays.
He has a life and he doesn't have a real job, which
Saturday, I had
none
to
of it
wake
makes
up
sense to
at 6 in the morning to do homework until I went to work, and it was a rough weekend. It was
It's
a
all
really rough
excuses.
weekend.
That's all it is.
Oh,
right.
man.
Whatever,
You got
dude. I'm furthering my education. See this? You can't.
Mm.
This is my third eye.
I know he's even about to cap out at his intern salary right now. He is about at full
Going from
intern
0
pay.
to
He's
0.
hit that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what
glass
else I
ceiling
can
will
do
be
for him
shattered.
here.
And I will emerge like a beautiful hawk, bird.
Well, now you train a new intern, I believe.
I think so. Maybe we'll put it out there. We're gonna.
No, to
that's what
top
this whole
this.
episode is going to be about. We want people to please message in so we can replace Jack.
Oh my god.
No, we love you, Jack. It's
Oh
all
my God.
jokes.
Yeah, let's
Um,
talk about the real
We don't love you
issues.
as much as you love yourself, but
Well, that'd be impossible.
so because Jack is not of age and we do not support underage drinking,
It's in the
is anybody
title.
having a brew with me?
Yes, sir.
What
crack
are you,
brew
what are you
with the
drinking there,
bros.
Mick? Lay it on me.
I went super expensive and bought some Henry Weinard's Private Reserve.
Oh, wow. Well, it says private reserve, so
Right.
you know.
I mean, and that was sarcasm, by the way.
I am drinking Ninkasi Brewing Company's Heart Science IPA. Mine comes in at a screaming 6.8 alcohol percentage, and I think it's it's brewed with human hearts. I'm pretty sure that's why it's called the Heart Science.
That's not good.
Um,
I don't know if that's legal, but we'll have to get back to you on that one.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
It's brewed with human hearts, and it says that it's good for your heart. So it's a healthy beer.
Of course.
Of course. So before we start the show, I'm sure that you guys are huge fans. You're familiar with the cheers. I don't need to remind you of it, right?
Right.
Okay. So, to all the nerds,
Through all the fuzz.
Through all the fuzz.
bottoms up.
Let's get
Nerd
buzzed.
buzzed. We already sound nerd buzzed. I love it.
What's up, Dad?
Oh, which Monster Hunters are you playing? Is it World or is it?
Jay.
Dad is joining us. Dad is. I'm gonna nominate. If this is okay with you, Dad, I would like to nominate you to be the president of our fan club. So you are responsible for sending for keeping in touch with yourself and letting yourself know about everything. You get to be #1 fan and president of the fan club. So let me know if that works for you.
We made it.
Sounds like a win.
Yeah, right. They can't lose there. Can't lose.
Whoa, what are you? Don't click. Hey,
sorry.
that's my job.
I know. Sorry, I was touching your mouse.
Get up,
I know it's
step
personal
off.
space. I apologize. So let's see here. My phone keeps closing out on me. So this episode, I kind of want to talk about. I know both of you guys are Destiny players,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That we
And
are.
they're recently, was it last week or the week before?
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
two
2
weeks
weeks
ago.
ago.
Yep.
They officially announced that Activision is splitting away from Destiny, which means Bungie will
Yes.
get full control.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct me if
Which
I'm
will be good.
misspeaking. Yeah, I'm curious actually how you guys feel about that.
In my opinion, anyways.
And well, can you elaborate at all? Why is it good?
Well, I'm gonna let him go first because
Okay.
he's more seasoned than I am.
Yeah. Gary.
My mistake.
Why is it a good thing, Gary?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Totally fine.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, random microphone issue. A large part of the problem of like Destiny's had a lot is, especially early on, they were catering to the casual crowd. Microtransactions were a huge part of the game. Everything, a lot of the cool stuff was locked behind Eververse. And we're never going to know for sure, what, I mean, we know Activision based off its past. They're constantly looking for every way to make every dime out of it they can.
Oh, yeah.
They're not about the art there, and they're about the money. But, and hopefully with Bungie separating from Activision, that's going to enable them to cater more towards the hardcore. They're not going to be, microtransactioning us to the death.
We hope, right?
We hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how
we
much of
don't
that could
know.
have been Bungie's decision? It's like
Yeah.
there's always that's always a question, but it
Yes.
was most likely Activision
I would assume.
because based on prior history.
I think of we played Destiny 2 as one of our nerd plays. So we did dabble. Me and Gary played a little bit together, and it was fun. But it really feels like a game that's less about catering to the fans and content as much. It's almost like a subscription, right? Like you have to constantly be
season
paying
pass.
something. Yeah,
Every
it's
6
like-
months there's a new and the season pass isn't really like a season pass because it's only for like the first 2 expansions. And there's like, oh, there's a 3rd expansion, you can buy that. And there's a 4th expansion, you can buy that. And it's always like buying the next expansion. At least that's
And
what it
get a
seems like
little
to me.
bit better. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying at least that's what it seems like to me.
Well, they got a little bit smarter in their messaging this year. Rather than an expansion pass, a season pass, or whatever, they called it the annual pass. Basically, that gets you all the content for the next year until, the next big Forsaken or whatever that is they happen to
Okay.
call it
Yeah.
comes out in the fall again.
Still sounds like an anal pass to me.
Nice.
It was better than your Call of Duty season passes and all that crap because you actually got some content, which was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And it did expand the story a little bit, but I wish that it was more geared toward those people that want to play the actual storyline and actually build that universe more.
Yeah, because I mean, like a lot of the people that are coming for Bungie, right?
Exactly.
Like what they did for Halo was really cool. Like I mean, the dedication they had to the lore, and I don't know if they like greenlit the books or like what their involvement was in like all the, I guess, extra or like outside of the game lore, but like they really did build like a compelling universe, and I think they weren't really allowed to do that by Activision, because I'm sure that's what they wanted to do. At least I hope. So yeah, I'm wondering if like in the future the expansions are going to change from like grindy or kind of like gameplay driven to more like, I guess, story driven content.
Yeah,
It's
more
interesting
more
to see.
substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Forsaken, from what I saw, did have a lot of stuff in it. But like, I heard there was like some recycled, like one of the legendaries or like two of the legendaries, like really good ones were like recycled from the
Exotics.
first one. Yeah, okay, exotics were
Yeah.
recycled from the first one, and that was a big problem with some people. And like, yeah, I'm wondering what it's gonna look like for the future, but I'm hopeful.
With that though, the recycling of exotics and stuff, there's a lot that from the first one that were awesome guns or armor or something that is pretty cool to actually see that in the next game, being like, oh man, I wish I actually had this thing, but
Yeah.
you didn't know like how hard you had to grind to get that one stupid little thing. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
As far as like the Halo novels, which I went in hardcore with, back when Halo 3, that era when Halo was super huge.
Yeah.
Bungie hated it.
Really?
They felt that what the writers were creating were then hemming them into what they could then tell as their story. That's why, as you start to get later in the games, there start to be inconsistencies between the books and the novel and the games, because Bungie had kind of given up on it. That was a Microsoft initiative.
Interesting.
But I mean, Destiny, we've gotten 4 mini web comics, and that's about it.
Huh.
That told stories from in the past.
So
That is all the expanded lore we've gotten.
Yeah.
So do you think that the split is a result of, like, obviously Destiny 2 hasn't been as, I think it's been praised for some of the things it's done, but overall it seems to kind of have a little bit of a negative connotation over it compared to the first one? Like, there's a lot of the diehards that have come along that have had some complaints, right? Am I accurate there? I don't play it as much as you guys, but this is what I've heard.
Yeah.
Do you think that part of the reason why Activision is leaving is because the community has stepped up and reacted to what they've done, and so Activision is kind of done fiddling with it, and they're just, you can now deal with it, Bungie? Like, how much of the split is on the community? Like, how much did they cause that to happen, do you think?
I don't think they did in the fact that, okay, Destiny 1 launched. It was the biggest new IP launch of the console in like 10 years or what have you. It launched huge, had a huge player base, and then, and then they kind of fell off the wagon there for a bit, and then they built it back up, and then we got to Destiny 2, which was the number 2 selling game last year.
Oh.
Yeah, last year when it came out. But because of the missteps they made early on, as far as keeping people engaged past, the 3 or 4 week mark, a lot of people dropped off, and they have not gotten what Activision wanted as far as pulling people back in with Forsaken. And with Destiny, Activision made like a $500 million bet on Destiny, expecting it to do X amount of, bring them that much money back. But with it being a live service, the constant cost, having 3 studios tied into it, I mean, they're making money, but it's not what they wanted for their investment. It's more or less what it seems like is happening.
Yeah. So do you think that the majority of the community views this as a good thing?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's not a question how they view it. The thing that I find that they kind of forget, though, we wouldn't have what we have without Activision.
Oh, for sure, right? Like, they were
capital in order to make this.
Yeah, they were the financial backer to bring you this full-fledged game, right? But now, so really, I mean, really, the community owes Activision a big thank you for that.
Yes, but you're not going to get it.
No, of course not. But I mean, they did push it to the forefront and make it relevant for everybody, and now I think it's really exciting, just the mentality of that now Bungie is going to be able to tap into their own product and do it the way they want to do it, and getting rid of hopefully as many microtransactions and that type of thing, and getting back to giving their community the the loyalty, respect that they deserve, and hopefully bring in some of those other people. I think there's a lot of other games out there that are suffering from that kind of a massive financial backer publisher kind of recourse also, right? Like one of the biggest ones on the horizon is Anthem. And I think the scariest thing about Anthem is that it's published by EA.
And also that it's like BioWare. I mean, the last game that like mainline BioWare did was, I guess, Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yes, Inquisition.
But then like BioWare, the other BioWare studio had Andromeda. And so like a lot of people are thinking that like if Anthem doesn't do like perfectly, BioWare is just done. And I mean that's a pattern that they like EA has all the time, where it's like they give the studio like 2 chances to mess up, but of course EA makes them mess up, and they're gone. It's what happened to like Visceral. It's what happened to like countless other studios. I did a project on it last year in my microeconomics class, and like how EA profits off that. But yeah, I'm
to me, that's
Anthem.
the biggest red flag about Anthem, is that it's affiliated with EA.
And then it's like BioWare could be on the chopping block, and usually when they're on the chopping block, EA just throws they're like, let's see how much money we can make out of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
No. Yeah.
Well, and if what's happened with Destiny, that's kind of what I mean by like Destiny could spearhead to some degree, could kind of spearhead this movement, or Bungie could, where if they can bring Destiny back all on their own and really pay respect to their loyal community that they have, and really like bring it back up all on their own and give quality content without this super pressure to buy all the time, there could be this motivation for other companies to kind of step up and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like you suddenly now EA and Activision could start losing as much power as they have, or influence they have over these small companies. I think they're always going to be money grabbing, right? Like that is what I get that that's what your job is as the publisher, right? You're in it to make money. That is the job of the publisher.
Yeah.
So I can't really fault them for trying to capitalize on what they're supposed to be doing, but they're taking away from quality. And I would love to see this be a big step and kind of a real kind of shining example of what other companies could maybe kind of follow suit and do also.
And it's completely feasible at this point, because when you look at like Epic, who obviously has made more money than God at this point off of Fortnite, but they've opened up their Epic store, which is going to let them, Bungie doesn't have to have a publisher, because you can go straight through Microsoft and Sony for the consoles, and then the Epic store, they take like a third of what Steam or Origin or the other ones take from the developers, and that goes into the developers' pocket rather than to Epic's. Yeah. So that's a very enticing reason to do it themselves. If they publish it on their own, I mean, they're making mega money at this point, and they're a big enough name. They don't need a publisher in this day and age, because so much of it's gone digital.
Yeah.
And there's even smaller companies that'll do limited runs of physical copies if that's what you want to do. If you want to, put a disc out there for people to come buy, that's an option too. You don't really need the publishers, except for, you need that money to develop the project.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Bungie has that, or Bungie can get that.
They got $100 million from NetEase last fall, and everybody was all like, oh God, they're getting ready to pull the plug on Destiny. But I'm pretty sure that $100 million is why they're able to do what they're doing now with Destiny.
Well, and I wonder what the the cost difference is for like a server versus like printing physical copies. Like if the trade-off is that we have to give up our physical copies because Bungie won't have the money to do that, right? To as intensely as EA or Activision or some big backer could do it, but you can still get all your stuff digitally, and they can kind of keep it in-house that way. That's a pretty sweet trade-off, like totally worth doing.
Mick, are you a digital or a physical guy?
Both?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm having PC issues.
Okay. Sorry,
I
just began talking, man. I felt like I was hogging the time.
No, my computer actually blue screened, so I I was completely out till just now.
Oh, nice. We didn't
Yeah,
even
that will,
notice, just so you know.
I actually text you, Marcus. So
I did just get it. Yeah, I just got it.
Jack's the only one who plays on his phone in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Me?
Oh, I do all the time.
So
I like
I always
digital
research
content to a
stuff.
certain extent. I like having the physical disc, like for stuff I'm not really going to take out anywhere or do anything, but having the digital copy is nice, so you can just take it to your hard drive and just hook it into somebody else's system.
Or you don't have to
And you
get up
don't
and
have
change
to
the
get
disc.
up.
Oh, yeah.
yes, totally.
Right. That's nice.
That is a huge advantage. I've had physical copies of games, and I play the crap out of those games so much that I will end up buying a digital copy.
Yeah.
Just purely to keep my butt on the couch. I'm that lazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
However, then you have like what happened to me last week when my external HDD died and I lost 2 terabytes of games.
Oh, my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
That
What?
sucks.
Yeah,
Although-
it sucks.
Although I'm the same guy that will refuse to get up and go get the Blu-ray and just watch it on like Hulu and
Netflix.
just sit through the commercial instead of getting up to go get the disc. Right? It's like
No, at that
I'm
point,
also that guy.
I would get the disc.
really, I'll just let
I
it
paid-
play.
Oh,
It's
God,
like
I can't
there's
stand
only
ads.
3 commercial
$99
breaks.
to get rid of the commercials.
I hate the commercials.
So the community is on board. They think this is an awesome, a good thing with loads of potential. Do we all kind of agree that outside of the community and just in the video game community in general, that this also kind of boasts potential there for other companies?
I do. I think that because Activision has done a lot with like Call of Duty and stuff like that, and I think that's what they were trying to draw in was those players, which, I mean, it kind of shows in the Crucible and stuff. There are those certain games that you play where you actually are with people that want to play a Destiny style TDM or whatever, but the Activision likes to draw in all the FPS players that are used to that fast-paced Call of Duty stuff, and by getting rid of that, I think it'll open up a lot more doors for them.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's gonna. I really hope it motivates, and I hope that from this, Bungie has so much success, and the fans, their voice will totally ring really loud with that, and that's all you'll hear from it. And I hope that it'll actually kind of scare a little bit of that out for money mentality, and we can kind of get back to some games where the creators are more invested in content and quality than they are just a quick buck.
Yes.
Yep.
Like a good Star Wars game or a Star Wars game that comes out.
Yeah,
See,
right?
I actually really liked Battlefront 2. I mean, I liked the first one just because it was a fun Star Wars killing each other, whatever. Like, hey, I'm a stormtrooper. But Battlefront 2 actually had some really, really good gameplay, and I did like that quite a bit.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. My issue is though, after 6 years, that's all we've gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally true. And they are belligerent with their loot boxes and the amount of stuff that they want you to buy.
Those have gotten better. Those they fixed. They pulled those pretty early, and I think they're significantly better now.
They actually pulled the loot boxes from Shadow of War, which I'm interested. I might try it again just because of that.
I've been playing Shadow War, actually. Like, good game.
Yeah.
Did you play the first one?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
There were
I
things
loved
that
it.
I really like about the first. Like, when you play the second one, it actually makes me appreciate the first one even more. Like, the first one feels so simplistic as far as compared to the second one.
Yeah.
But I actually love how streamlined the first one is, and it's not cluttered with garbage. Like, even though it's a short game, what's there is really, really concise and really awesome.
Yeah.
And so when I got the second one, it almost felt like cumbersome a little
there was too
bit,
much
and
or
just
something?
kind of cluttered, and it almost felt like they were trying to go off in so many directions that they lost focus a little bit.
I guess I didn't.
I mean, to be fair, when I
Yeah.
finished the first one, I totally thought I wish there was more game.
Yeah.
Right? And then I got that in the
Oh,
the
God.
second one, and I immediately thought, I kind of wish there was a little less
Well,
game, right?
It's like, yeah, the complexity of it can be overwhelming at times, but like I had fun. I need to go back to it. I need to have more time to play games in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're really headed into just kind of a really interesting time with games and just kind of nerd stuff in general. I've kind of I've kind of said it multiple times on our show, but I hope that this split is a step in the right direction just for games in general and kind of nerd stuff in general. We're so saturated with it right now that it's really easy to just slip something in there to make a quick buck without really doing it with class, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like in bad taste. And I hope that things like this will keep happening and that the community can speak up other than just being a bunch of nerd whiners, because I think we can be guilty of that for sure also.
Oh, yeah.
But to complain with relevance and with actually valid points, and to have the creators and the publishers of these things hear it, and to actually step up and give us quality content again, I think those are going to be the survivors in this saturation zone that we're in right now. And I really hope this is actually representing a step in that right direction.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential for it. So I don't play a lot of Destiny, but as soon as I started looking into all this, it actually made me kind of excited, and I was like,
yeah, I might start playing Destiny if Bungie
I'd be
starts
more
releasing-
interested for sure.
If you'd actually send me a friend request or something like that, Jack.
You send me my username is so
Hey.
easy. It's just Chodley, CHODLY. My dad.
Okay.
It was my dad.
Yes, that's true. So
My
now the
dad's.
whole world knows, and
No.
you should all play games with
I was
Jack.
thinking of changing it to God King Jack, but it's
He
Chodley's
won't.
too iconic.
He won't respond
Nah.
to you,
Iconic,
so don't worry
that's
about
exactly
it.
Oh
what it
my
is.
Right.
God! Marcus sent me a text one night. I tried to respond in the morning, but there's no reception in the computer building. So when I get out of class, there's like a billion texts. I'm like, yes, I'll show up to the Ding Dong Dingus tomorrow. Oh.
Wow.
Did you like that? I was like Jack,
I got them
Jack,
all at
and
once,
then
I'm like,
just
oh my
J
God.
A C
Yeah.
K. Like it was
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Your dad gave me that
Awesome.
tip, by the way.
Oh, God.
He was like, you have to bombard him with messages.
You don't need to
before he will
bombard me.
respond."
I'm probably just doing homework or at school.
Being responsible,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Gosh
Going wrong.
forbid.
So,
How
did
many
you guys
months was
all watch
many months, Jeremiah?
the
I
Spider-Man
got
Far
it.
From Home
I
trailer?
didn't get the shirt.
Of course.
Yes,
What?
of course. I knew Gary
course.
did. 5
I
times.
haven't.
You
I
haven't? What?
No.
Okay, well, turn your mic off and watch it real quick. It'll take you 1 minute.
It's okay. I can.
7
we
minutes
can
long.
vamp. We can
No,
vamp a little.
Let's listen because I'm.
Okay.
It's fine.
5
So-
months.
I think, okay, first up, I think it's worth noting that things that we're all super amped for the second Infinity War,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
there's clear spoilers in the trailer that we saw for Infinity War, right? I mean, we already knew the movie was going to come out, but you see Nick Fury in it.
Yep.
You see
Spider-Man, obviously.
obviously Spider-Man.
Maria Hill. She's there by Nick Fury. Happy.
Yep. Like, and these people are supposed to be supposedly turned to dust, right, from Infinity War.
Yeah.
Do you
It's wei-
guys?
I don't get why they put it after. They should have.
It does seem really
Mar-
weird to me.
It seemed too
Marvel
happy
was
to be
very
after.
upset by the window that Sony picked to release Far From Home. They were not happy about it
Yeah.
because it's only a month and a half after Endgame releases, so there's no way to promote it without spoiling stuff for Endgame.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah.
a decision Sony had. That's where they wanted it, and that wasn't something Marvel could make them budge on. That's
So
part of that give and
Sony
take.
was actually the one that pushed that.
That's so weird.
Yes.
Maybe they want to
Yeah.
Weird.
sabotage Marvel. They're like, if
Yeah,
we do
like
this,
is that like some weird like just jabbing like tit for tat thing that Sony and
could be.
Marvel
That'd be
and
kinda
Disney are
funny.
going through right now? Do we have another?
mean,
do we have another Activision Bungie scenario, but with Marvel going on here?
Well, no, I don't want Sony to take Spider-Man away.
I don't either. If you gotta ruin Infinity War a little bit, I'm fine with it as long as they get to keep
Yeah.
Spider-Man, right?
Yeah,
I'll take that.
But yeah, because it does spoil a little bit. But dude, we all knew it anyway. I mean, they're not going to leave all the people that are new dead. We knew it was coming.
Jay
Yeah.
says that's a classic Sony staple. to be
Sony
fair.
move.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
It is.
So I think the other big question going around the internet, as far as the trailer goes, is Jake Gyllenhaal is going to play Mysterio, right?
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And he was actually rumored early on in Spider-Man 2, I believe, with Tobey Maguire.
Oh, wow.
There was this he was such a diva. This is all alleged, of course.
Yeah.
But he was like such a diva about it and had all these ridiculous demands and there was a time when he was potentially not going to be Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2, and it's rumored that Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be the actor to replace him, which I thought was kind of funny.
I mean,
he was a bit of a diva, but he also had back issues at that time. He had to have procedures done. They weren't sure if he was going to be healthy enough to play Spider-Man.
Well, that's what he said, and then I had heard that he had immediately when they were out searching for new actors for Spider-Man 2, he immediately started backpedaling on all this diva attitude stuff and was like even willing to submit himself for like testing.
Jake Gyllenhaal was dating Kirsten Dunst at the time too.
Oh, really? See, look at that drama circle.
God, how do you know all this?
Super nerd.
Because I don't forget random facts, dude. I can't tell you my own birthday, let alone my children's, but I can tell you exactly what day Spider-Man 1 came out.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal was dating. And
what did you guys think of the Mysterio?
It was in an article I read at some point.
In the trailer, what did you think, Gary, of the reveal of seeing Mysterio?
Dude, they pulled off the fishbowl.
Yeah,
right?
that was
all
the
you
first
need to
shot
say.
was like. It's
like I thought he is the most cartoony, goofy-looking character. How are they going to make this look? And it's like they ripped him right off of the comic book page. It is phenomenal, and they do it so well. I'm blown away with how accurate to that classic comic book Mysterio he is, and he looks like a badass.
So
I can't believe they pulled that off.
I don't think I watched the trailer with sound. Like I'm 99% sure I didn't. So I didn't. Yeah, because I can't remember anything of like what they said. So like, what about his character is classic?
Oh, everything. Even from the like squared off gauntlets with the little hooks in the back, the fishbowl head,
buttons and dials and the gold and the purple mat,
but like
cape and the fishbowl on his head.
The blue cloud or green cloud that's around him.
I don't like how in the trailer they did it. It reminded me of like a Judge Dredd.
It's classic Spider-Man. That in the fight at some point Spider-Man breaks the glass dome, right?
Yeah.
It's classic fight thing. He punches and breaks the dome.
Backpack in the game. You get that piece of his dome. That's where he figured out how to make his things on his eyes. One of the backpacks in the Spider-Man game.
I didn't
know that. Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Broken piece out where he does the iconic punches through it. It's that piece.
I need to get the Spider-Man DLC.
There you go, see?
I haven't done that.
That is totally classic Spider-Man. I am so sold on Mysterio. He was one of the characters. I love him so much more than, at least visually, so much more than the Vulture. Like, the Vulture was cool, but he was so robotic looking, and it just, it didn't have that really true to the classic comic look. Mysterio, you could not, I don't know that it could be much more accurate. I was blown away with how awesome it looked. The other big thing going around about Mysterio is that it's rumored that he is a good guy in the movie, or at least a sidekick or vice versa of Spider-Man.
Wasn't he fighting
Have you been hearing about that?
The water thing?
Those are supposed to be the elementals, I guess, in the movie. And all this is hearsay. Nobody knows for sure, but this is what people are trying to piece together. And as far as I know of Mysterio from the comics and other like media that I've seen him in, he's like the master of illusion, right? Yes. So you can't trust anything you see or anything that he says or does. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the rumor's true that they are like teaming up in any way. I wouldn't be surprised if that's done to kind of fool everybody, to like maybe elevate himself to look like a good guy, and the elementals are actually working for him, or he's created them through some sort of illusion, so now he can try to take them over.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what if the whole like there's a scene of like the London Bridge exploding. I'm like, that could just be a Mysterio illusion.
Yeah, you can't trust anything because it's Mysterio.
I hope they play with that a bit. Like, because that could be a really sad thing if you like build him up and you're like, just don't be a bad guy, don't be a bad guy, and then he turns out to be a bad guy, and you're like,
and he caused the whole thing.
Yeah,
right? That would be classic Mysterio, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gary?
Okay, because I can't see Mick, so I can't tell when he's getting ready to talk.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just like talk over you.
Okay, so the official synopsis does say Mysterio is a good guy.
It does say he's a good guy.
It does say he's there. Nick Fury's putting Spider-Man with Mysterio, who's the guy there taking care of these things.
I think
Now, there are
Mysterio
couple-
had a hand in making that description.
Yeah, right.
It's a
That's part of the illusion.
Exactly.
It's real.
I don't know that anybody's buying it. It would be a vast departure, and it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But I mean, you know, they do make some odd choices at times, so I mean, it's not impossible. The Elementals, it's rumored, are the Molten Man, Hydro Man, Sandman. I can't remember who they said the other one might be, but so that's three Spider-Man villains that it could be
Wind
those giants.
Man.
So I mean, it's
It could be.
feasible, but
Would you be shocked if the movie, as the movie played out, it ends up that Mysterio orchestrated this whole thing just to like make himself look good, and because that's what he wants, right?
Yeah.
Like he's got a big
Dude,
ego.
no. They just ripped off the Incredibles, man. He is Syndrome.
Yeah,
Mega Man. Yeah, Dad says Mega Man.
Mega Man is the fourth elemental, so watch
Yeah.
out, Spider-Man.
Co-produced by it's Sony, Disney, and Capcom that made
It's
this
made by the people that made Mighty Number 9, so just
Yeah.
getting it. Oh God, that'd be a terrible movie.
I don't know what to believe as far as Mysterio goes in it. What I've seen, I would hate for them to take his story and be so inaccurate with it when visually they're so spot on accurate, right?
What is his story?
Like
is there like
who-
a solid canon?
He's
to him?
he's totally a legitimate character in the Spider-Man world, and he is a special effects guy.
Yeah.
That's like what he does. So everything that's going on are special effects, right? And he's got the world's biggest ego, and he wants to use all the special effects to focus all the attention on
So
himself.
he's like a Scooby-Doo villain.
Yes. Yeah, essentially. Yeah,
I mean,
under
yeah,
the dome.
I mean, really, yeah.
I think that's a very
Well,
good
all
description.
Sue?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's worth noting that, would you say maybe since the first Spider-Man movie, you can't always trust the trailers before the MCU movies? Remember in
No.
the Spider-Man?
War.
Well, but the first
Yeah.
wasn't the first Spider-Man was even before that, right? And Tony, that shows images of like Tony flying through the city and Spider-Man swinging after him, and like shows them doing
yeah.
action together. That was never in the movie, right?
Yeah, I
The
forgot about that. But yeah,
Infinity
totally correct.
War, Hulk is in a lot of scenes in that.
And
He's not actually in the movie.
They implied that he was only going to get like 3 of the stones when he got all 6.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
cool.
I think Marvel's been pretty good about giving us just enough in the trailer and also kind of misleading us to think a little bit of something else. And then when we actually go see it, there's different shots that in the movie that weren't even in the trailer, or vice versa.
As
right?
if Mysterio cut the trailers himself.
Right?
I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal's
What if he's
real.
the one behind them all for all the trailers?
Yeah, it's just
right?
He's just Mysterio.
Ooh.
Mysterio.
He's been
Yeah.
behind the whole thing. I like this. That's getting pretty deep. I like
That's
it.
the world building right there.
Yeah.
a Mysterio conspirio.
Yeah. I can't imagine that.
There you go. There you go, Jack. Nice job.
I can't imagine that during the meeting for this movie, that they're like, okay, we got to make him look exactly like the comics. So somebody work on this and this and this. And in that same meeting, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, his backstory, screw that. We're gonna totally rewrite all of that and not stick to the comics. at all.
What if they
How
did
would
like
that happen?
this first movie?
He's
was
like a
good,
badass Hawkeye.
And then the
Yeah,
second,
right.
Yeah.
Field agent.
Yeah, right.
But what if
And in the comics, he does have some crossover with Daredevil too.
Yeah, I was gonna point out that's my favorite Mysterio storyline of all time was that one by Kevin Smith and Daredevil.
he's
Mhm.
a villain of Daredevil's, or
Yeah, he.
Yeah, he
like,
was the
works with-
antagonist in a Daredevil run. It was written by Kevin Smith from Jay and Silent Bob, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, the storyline's the Guardian Devil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guardian Devil.
Nice. Look at that. Mickey didn't even need to watch the trailer. All sorts of relevant
I did.
input.
I watched it, but
Oh, nice.
it's all right.
What did you think of Mysterio though? He looks pretty dope.
It looks cool. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think Jake Gyllenhaal's probably a good fit for that because he can play that really manipulative kind of person.
Yeah. Jay totally comments that he also absolutely loves that Daredevil run.
Yep.
He likes
Mhm.
it because it's
There's-
written by
there's
his
some
man
other good
crush,
ones, Jay.
but he also says it's quality. He didn't type that yet, but I'm sure that's what he was typing. So I do have. So let's say it is Sandman. We've had the Vulture now, and we've had Mysterio. Do you know where I'm going with this, Gary?
Dr. Octopus.
Right?
The Sinister Syndicate?
Interrupted you.
Yeah. Like, do you think we'll get Sinister
Sinister
Six? Like, wouldn't that be awesome?
That's been what they've been dreaming of forever. I mean, that was the plan. That's why Amazing Spider-Man 2 went off the rails like it did.
What if we had everyone in it? Oh, just put everyone in the movie.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Well,
It
actually
worked-
brings
it
up
worked for
something.
Spider-Man 3.
I'm sure you've seen on the internet like the 10-year challenge, the 2009 to 2019, and how people have changed over the 10 years on Twitter or something like that.
What do you mean?
You guys aren't okay. Apparently
Yeah,
nobody knows.
the pictures of like
the actors
You
ten,
from
10 years ago.
2009.
Yeah.
It's a big thing going around on the internet right now. And I got to think about this last night. You know what? There's a lot of change there. But look at Spider-Man from 2009 or 2014 to 2019. Not 5 years. Half that span. We went from Amazing Spider-Man 2 and its accompanying video game to Spider-Man on PS4 and Tom Holland racking it up on the MCU and into the Spider-Verse. And despite my personal thoughts, Venom.
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man's gone through a huge change in this last 5 years span.
Oh yeah, I think if you have to compare him to something, I would say he's almost the like Marvel equivalent to a Batman, right? Like Batman has been recycled and gone through so many different changes and different actors and so many different feels for those. Yeah, it's like the complete feel of those movies is drastically different with each actor change and all that. And I almost feel like Spider-Man is that equivalent for Marvel. It's been as drastically changed, right?
Yeah.
And we all still jump on board clamoring for more. Like he's just that guy, right?
And yet DCEU is completely failed now.
With
I heard Aquaman made ridiculous money, and that makes me angry.
It's on the way.
No. Aquaman was good, but the DCEU
Gary,
as a
shut up,
cinematic
Gary.
universe, they've ended it. DC's focusing solely on solo stuff now.
Thank
They're not building
God.
That's what I heard too.
a huge universe or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, everyone makes a big deal about Thanos wiping out half of the Marvel Universe. Well, hell, Justice League wiped out Batman and Superman. That's pretty impressive, too.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my God.
To be fair, though, and in our next episode, we do have a triple movie review, and me and Jay sit down and we talk about Into the Spider-Verse, Aquaman, and Broly, the DBS movie. So we watched all three of those. We sit down, we kind of go through a trilogy of just awesome reviews with those. Spoiler alert, we liked them all. But to be fair, Aquaman is good because it's so bad, Gary. You have to admit it, right? That's part of the we talked about this a little bit, and I think you agreed with me. It is the Fast and Furious of the DC movies.
Oh, yeah. It is
Totally,
the
right?
definition of a popcorn roller coaster ride, visual effect fest. But, dude, you know what? It wasn't bad. It was good.
Oh, I was fully entertained.
Despite all odds.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the next episode to come out. We all enjoyed all of those movies and had a lot of good things to say about them. So stay tuned for that.
I think you even see my hand in there.
Yes, yeah. Mick shows up at the end, a little surprise visit. It was pretty cool. So another question about the Spider-Man movie. How do you guys feel about Spider-Man constantly getting dramatic suit changes?
I don't mind.
It's okay. I mean...
And what do you think? Okay, so second part to that question, what do you think about him not having the Iron Spider suit at all?
I don't mind. I didn't like the design of that suit too much.
I didn't care for it at all.
I think it was more of like a fan
I like
thing.
the classic Iron Spider, the red and gold.
You did like it?
No, the classic one, like from the comics, the red and gold Iron Man one. That's the Iron Spider I like.
Yeah, with the 3 legs instead of the 4 and the
Wait, 3 legs?
Yeah, he only has 3 legs. It's all red with gold
bugs
eyes and a gold spider on the front.
But 3, is it like 2 and then 1? Or is it 1, 2, 1?
Yeah, I think it's more like 2 down and 1 up, or vice versa. Right?
I don't know, because they're kind of prehensile, kind of like Nightcrawler's tail, so they can whip up or down.
I guess it's better.
Yeah. Do you guys care about the suit? Because he even shows him with, like, in the shield suit, I guess. What is, right?
Yeah,
it's almost noir sort of looking, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
that-
yeah, there's one that's the noir, and then there's the one that's based off of the stealth suit from the game.
Mm.
Two different ones in there.
It'd be funny if they just like gave him a gun for the noir one. Cause didn't he have a gun in noir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He just has a gun. Just one of the elementals comes up on him, just like.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man just becomes a villain.
Kind
in
of
the
a
second one.
gun, man.
That's no.
Yeah.
That's what I really hope
do much.
there's
It's
like
a sand
some
monster.
sort of psychological damage after Infinity War, because there has to be, and it doesn't seem like I know I watched the trailer with that sound, but like it doesn't seem like there was like much that was
Yeah.
like different.
It does say he kind of has this he talks over the kind of the beginning of the trailer. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thanks, Mick.
So I was away from the mic too.
Well, you weren't. So
That's impressive.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but he does in the trailer talk about how he just wants to get back to normal life. And he doesn't even
Yes,
want
he
to
does.
bring the suit with him when he goes on this trip to Europe with the
Yeah.
kid, with the school. And he just wants to be a kid, leave that behind him. And this, at least the trailer kind of alludes to the suit sort of being snuck in there because it's got like the note on it. Isn't that right?
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's been a little bit since I've seen it, but I think I know what you're talking about. That sounds about.
Jeremiah,
Right.
yes, the best suit is the Bonesaw cage, Tobey Maguire. That's just a fact.
Bonesaw was awesome.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Was
Man.
was Bonesaw was that like Ultimate Warrior or something?
Macho
I
Man.
don't even
Macho
remember.
Man, that's it. Yes, I
Mhm.
knew he was a wrestler. Totally, yes.
Yes.
I heard
Yeah.
I heard they added the Bonesaw or like that suit to the game, so I'm gonna need. That's why I need to play it again too,
Nice.
Yes.
because they keep
Have you-
adding
You
stuff.
guys got the
oh.
shirtless Spider-Man in the game?
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
I platinumed that game in like a very short amount of time. That was
Nice.
an amazing game. Oh,
Randy Savage. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Good looking.
So I have one last question about the Spider-Man. I guess maybe two. Are you guys amped to see it? The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
definitely.
I'm pretty
I
excited.
mean,
to check it
I
out.
could go see it, I guess.
Probably, maybe. So because we've had again, we're kind of, in that comparison to Spider-Man to Batman. This question was fueled by my own mother, actually. Who
Ooh,
is
now I'm
your
scared.
guys' favorite Spider-Man, the actor? Should we and like Batman, should we separate it as far as Peter Parker and Spider-Man?
Both. I have to go with the new guy.
You think so?
I actually liked the Amazing Spider-Man actor.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, just because of how awkward he was.
No, he was like a jock almost. He was like a bully. I didn't like him.
He was
Well-
the way I always saw it was first guy.
Jay
McGuire.
says Holland
McGuire
for
ma-
both.
Oh God.
McGuire
Oh,
made a
McGuire?
good Peter Parker, but he missed something. He was missing something at Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Garfield was a good Spider-Man. Missing a little. He was like you said. He was too much of a jock. And
Yeah.
the Amazing
Really?
Spider-Man.
I felt-
Tom Holland is the best of them both.
I agree. He is the best balance.
The
He's
video
the
game
most
Spider-Man's
boyish.
really good too. I would say.
I don't like his look.
Really?
He looks
Yeah, I don't
to me.
either. I think okay, maybe you might agree with me.
It's because he's ripped, dude. He's Spider-Man. He's
Yeah.
swinging around. Of course, he's gonna be like.
No, it's his hair. Honestly, I think it's his hair that bothers me.
I like the hair.
Something about it doesn't look right. He does not look like Peter Parker to me.
I agree with you. I think he looks funky in the game. Would you
Thumbs
agree
down,
with me?
swipe
One thing I do like about Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is that he really reminds me of that, like, what would that be? Kind of like that mid '90s era or early '90s where it's McFarlane doing Spider-Man, and even into that like Eric Larson era of that Spider-Man. He screams that look to me, like a little bit more mature. I don't know. He's got that vibe from him.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I get it. It's based a lot off the Ultimate line, which,
Okay.
I mean, was more modernized, and I mean, it's a closer one. But yeah, I can definitely see the parallels that you're getting off of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely more in line with that than, like the Ditko originals, per se.
Yeah. And I would say, which I almost think that as far as that goes, I would give that to Tobey Maguire. Like Tobey Maguire
Yes.
with the glasses and all that, he has that very much old school Peter Parker look to him.
Pizza time.
Yeah. The one thing I
Ninja
did
Turtles?
like about the Andrew Garfield, those movies is I loved how much he moved like a spider. Like when he's attacking the lizard in the first one, and he totally does the little fingers up and on his toes, and he actually spider crawls around on his body. Like that is a phenomenal scene from that movie. But I think overall, as the whole package, I have to give it to Tom Holland. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
he sells
Tom
him the
Holland.
most.
Very good.
He sells him the most as a kid, I think.
Which is interesting to see if they'll still be the same. Like, I want to see the changes in Spider-Man in this. I really hope there is some sort of change after Infinity War, or just even in the time between, because it has been like a few years. So I guess, he'd be like 18 in the movie?
Yeah, he's got to be getting to the end of high school.
Yeah.
I would like to see as dramatic of changes in Spider-Man throughout the MCU
Like
as
Captain
we've
America?
seen in like Captain America and
Thor.
Iron Man.
Oh,
Right? Yeah, and
oh,
even
yeah.
Thor. Like Thor has gone from like the bumbling, muscle-bound idiot to being a little more kind of stoic and relevant.
To a badass bumbling idiot.
Yeah, he's still a bumbling idiot. I mean, he's a god. He can get away with anything, right? So he's got that
Exactly.
arrogance to him. But
Yeah.
he has even matured as a character, and I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to see that happen with Holland as we keep going on.
Yeah.
So I like that they've made him so young, so that can happen throughout the movies. Like they've
Exactly, Jay.
yeah.
Face Thanos, yeah. Oh, God.
I mean, it's all going to come down to exactly what actually happened to them. Are they actually dead? Are they trapped inside the Soul Gem? Are they shifted to an alternate
Should we
plane?
say?
I didn't even
Let's
think
go.
about that.
They-
Let's go around real quick. What do you think happened to him? I think Soul Gem. I think you nailed it with Soul Gem. I think it's in the first Infinity War movie when Thanos sees Gamora the second time, like after he snaps his fingers and it's all red, and that's all. The Soul Gem is red. It's in this red empty plane, and all he does is see her there in his like, in the way that in his mind he sees her at her ideal, right? So I would assume that is the Soul Gem when that's happening. I think they're all in there. What do you guys think?
He Phantom zoned him.
Yeah,
Basically.
right. Basically, yeah. The new one's gonna open with this like mirror spinning,
No,
right? Yeah.
No.
With all of them with their hands pressed up against it.
It's a big mirror.
Maybe all their cheeks will be touching, and they'll all be playing Nintendo Switch together.
Oh, there you go.
On the same little screen,
That's an
because they
interesting
only got
theory.
one.
I never thought of that. Yeah, it could be like an alternate world. Or, maybe the movie ends with Thanos being like, all right, I'll make 2 universes then. And they do like a compromise.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd actually be kind of interesting.
I'm really curious. I have so much expectations for this next Infinity War, and I've already said on the show, my opinion of the first one is so heavily going to weigh on what happens in the second one. It really is.
Yeah, because you kind of do have to rely on that, because it is like it's the like most direct sequel to any Marvel movie so far, I think.
Yes.
It's the other half.
Yeah.
We've only seen half of it.
You and I talked about it. I think we discussed it. I think the night of the premiere, because we ended up hooking up on PlayStation, so I could talk about it with somebody. And I think I said at the time, I was like, it's like an 8.5, but based off of what happens in the next one, it's either actually.
Oh, what was that?
I
Say
think
it
he
again.
said 7.5.
Yeah, I think you did too. I was trying to read his lips.
No.
I was like,
Oh,
If I don't wiggle my controller every so often, it turns off, and then my mic dies.
Jeremiah says time loop.
Ooh, a time loop. I tell you what, I will be so pissed
God.
if Thanos snaps his fingers again and just makes it all normal. Like, if none of it matters, I will be thoroughly pissed
Or
at
what
this
if he
movie.
made that none of it happened?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it just goes back, oh, it was like a dream. We all woke up from a dream. Screw that, man. I will be really irritated.
There could be a good build up to that, though, I think.
I mean, they're going to have to undo it because all the people who dusted are, the people who have to come back. But because they've got more movies. Unless they're just completely snowballing us. And Black Panther's done. And
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But
Didn't
it
make
has to
enough money.
leave. It has to leave some sort of lasting impact.
there will be consequence with the core team, the guy, the grandfathers of the MCU.
Well, and maybe even in Spider-Man, we will see that start to happen for him, right? We will start to see Spider-Man be changed after that, and his characters start to make those first steps in growing. Like, I don't.
Did you pick up on Happy's line during the trailer? He's talking to Pete.
What was it?
I know you. It's just us now.
Don't say that,
Well,
Dad. Dad is saying that he can just
time.
rewind time. Don't say that, Dad. You're scaring me.
What if he fast forwarded time to because there's this theory that like that based on the amount of atoms in the universe, they're like there's like 100% or there's like some ridiculous probability, probably not 100%, that there's a literal like structurally exactly the same atomic like sort of formation that is the same as you. So essentially there has to be a clone of you out there because of the amount of like atoms and the way they're structured in the universe. So maybe fast forwards time until a point where that there's a
No,
dumb,
I don't like
there's a
that
dumb-
either.
There's a dumb one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had me. I'm like, oh, good science lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally
for
lost
Jack.
me. We failed the quiz. If we keep going, kind of on this on the Marvel train here, right? It's been recently. I think you were the one you sent me the link that Disney. Yeah, right. Which one, right?
You got to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah. So maybe you can clarify this for me, Gary. Does Disney own the rights to all the comic book Marvel stuff? Like, are they responsible for what we're seeing in comic books?
Yes, I mean they are under their. I mean Disney obviously has like CB Cebulski is actually the guy who's in charge of Marvel, but they are directly under Disney. It's not just the pictures or the movies and pictures.
Like
Or my
anything,
40s.
any other than Spider-Man. As soon as this
The
Fox deal
copies.
goes through, other than Spider-Man and heroes
Oh, okay,
and villains
you're talking
affiliated.
cinematically.
Like, well, I mean cinematically and the comic books. Like, all
They
of
own
that is
everything
under
publishing.
Disney, right? All of it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's still Hulk is still technically Universal, which is why we don't get a Hulk solo movie.
yes. Okay.
So
That's
weird.
right. That's right.
They tried that.
Namor, and I believe Namor is somehow tied into some weird licensing deal as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think so. I
have to
remember
look
hearing
that
that too. But you sent me a link. Here we go. Real
Submariner,
vague
no one
again.
cares.
It was the one about how much money is being dumped into X-Men comic books.
Yes, they're back up to 1990s spending levels for their budgets for producing X-Men books.
Yeah. Do you think that any of that is like a precursor to what we're going to start getting in the MCU and them wanting to hype up X-Men and make X-Men more relevant?
Exactly. That's why they can't. I mean, X-Men has been down to just 3 or 4 titles, which is a lot for your average property. But I mean, you were reading in the 90s. You remember what the X-Men was?
Yeah. Well,
They were
the 90s X-Men
titles a month.
I think the relatable thing for everybody as far as 90s X-Men is the Saturday morning cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Like that is the classic team, the yellow suits, the blue trunked Wolverine, like that era of X-Men is basically the like super heyday of X-Men.
It's the best.
You know what the number 1 selling comic book of all time is, right?
No.
X-Men #1 with Jim Lee's art, where he debuted those particular costume variations they then used in the animated series. Marvel
Of course it's
almost
Jim
made
Lee.
change.
Interesting.
They all had those goofy feet, right? And massive shoulders.
Oh yeah,
Classic.
that was Leafield. You're in the right boat.
Yeah.
Well, no, Leafield didn't even want. He didn't like want to draw a feet at all. Thanos will rewind time before he did the snap.
No, Dad. I love you, but I hate everything you love. I'm still gonna stick with that.
I really hope that's not what happens.
I really
would
don't
like
want him to
some sort
rewind
of
time either.
consequence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there needs to be repercussions, and the heroes need to be affected by what he does.
Does the time stone still work?
Yeah,
You
who knows?
saw the gauntlet at the end of the movie, right?
I
it's
think that's-
shattered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
What?
wondering. They'll probably explain what that means.
Yeah, the glove is ruined anyway, right? Like the stone. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it again now and look really close at the stones. Are the stones
And
themselves?
I mean, I
It's
don't
like
know
it's
how much you want to
fused to
buy
his
into
hand.
the toys, but Thanos is back to wearing full-fledged armor with some sort of weapon, and the toys coming out. No Infinity Gauntlet for it to coincide with Endgame.
Maybe he eats them.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he just snacks them down. It feels kind of obvious. Oh my
That was
God!
established before.
Oh, it's a
Doctor
Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, that could be.
Maybe
if
maybe
Luke
he'll
was
have a
just-
grill.
A loop that was established before Doctor Strange gave it up.
That's a possibility
what do you
because
mean?
That would
the
be
time
cool.
stone is glowing when Doctor Strange goes to hand it, and usually when the time stone's glowing, that's when he was
Well,
set in the loop. and
Doctor Strange knows
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. Oh my God, I didn't think about that. Like the Dormammu loop.
I hope that's not it. I hope he eats them all, and we get a grin from him in the movie, and we see a sweet Infinity Stone grill that
God,
Thanos has
stop.
got.
Cookie Mouse, yeah.
right?
I hope Doctor Strange, if it is a time loop, Doctor Strange is like, I've come to make a bargain. I really hope he does that. Because
Yeah.
I
don't
love
think-
that scene.
I don't think that's what it's going to be because they're planning on Ant-Man playing such an important role and how
damn
this is
it.
all going to be fixed.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, they have to go quantum or whatever. Maybe he just
Quantum
made it
realm,
really
yes.
small. Maybe he just made everything really small.
Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
you won't take the resources if you're only this
does.
big.
Yeah, right.
That's what you think.
If we can't hear the snap, it doesn't
Verse
work.
does exist.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does in the movies, but it exists in the comics. The microverse does exist.
They can't say that because of that's another license
Oh
issue
my
with
God.
Hasbro. The Micronauts, right?
You've got a point. Yeah,
That is a
The
complete
tiny,
real thing.
the
and a
tiny
relevant point.
verse.
I had an X-Men Micronauts crossover.
Oh my God, you should do it, Dad. I love you for it.
Bother the
He's
whole
gonna
time.
he's gonna keep bringing it up the whole
It's
time.
it's like he's in his own rewind loop. He won't
Yeah,
know
right?
what time
I
it is
won't know
until
what's
the
going
movie
on
comes
either.
I broke it.
I love you, Dad. You're totally my favorite fan. You don't have much stiff competition, but I love you.
Bless up.
And I'm very proud. I do want to acknowledge that I'm very proud of Dad for playing something other than For Honor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that you're expanding your horizons. I like it. I wish you had it on PlayStation because I totally
because
monster
then you
hunted
could
up
play
with you.
Horizon.
Yeah.
Segue. Nice. Boom.
So, okay,
Genius.
if we do kind of go back, rewind, use our time stone to go
Yeah.
back to this X-Men
I'm
thing.
gonna make a bargain.
They better not mess up Gambit. That's all I'm saying. For X-Men.
I don't want him to mess up any of it. I
So,
think there's
are you
so
talking
much.
about messing up the
like-
comic properties, or because you
No,
sent me?
The best Gambit was the cartoon Gambit.
Which again
The-
is that '90s kind of
Right, and he was
mentality of
French, and he was cocky, and he was awesome. Like
He was
he's one of my
Cajun.
favorite characters.
yeah.
You just described Channing Tatum to a T.
But
Yeah,
see,
right.
but I'm not sure if I like him as Gambit though, because
I'm
Gambit
not
wasn't
sure
this
either.
muscular guy that's
Channing
jock
Tatum
looking.
is Gambit. What is it?
Yeah.
Other
He was-
pictures?
I don't
He
know
was-
that movie can't still be happening.
It is
I actually-
2020.
I mean, it's not going to come out in 2020, but
Probably not, but that's when it's.
but I did see a
alleged.
rumor Tatum may step up to direct it now.
That would
Weird.
probably be okay, as long as they get somebody that matches the actual look of the original Gambit, because they screwed it up in the other one.
Oh yeah,
you
for
mean,
sure.
Oh, you mean that really
Origins?
good Wolverine movie?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Really good one?
Yeah.
yeah, the awesome one.
I
New
hope that
Hero of
we.
Vortiture.
I think that what Disney's doing by putting so much money into these comic books and trying to make X-Men relevant definitely kind of speaks to them knowing that they were going to try to make this deal before it was like publicly known, and that the MCU is somewhat revolving around potential to have X-Men come in. Like this was something that they've already thought about, even though they're totally kind of playing ignorant to it and we don't have plans for it yet until all this stuff. There is very tentative plans that are basically not tentative, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Feige did finally admit that. Yeah, I do have some plans for them. Like
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
And I really hope it's not an X-Men movie. I really want X-Men to be almost come together like the Avengers did. Like I would love to get a few solo movies where they just kind of come in, or maybe are like a guest in something else, or we just kind of get teased with mutants a little more before we actually get a full-fledged X-Men movie.
Well, if
we
they did
need
do a
something- Go ahead.
if they did do a multiverse thing, I was always thinking that because they're so deep into the MCU, the X-Men would come in as like a multiverse event, and then have two universes, and they'd like coincide, sort of like in like a CW kind of
God,
thing.
I don't want that either. You're not selling
No.
this, Jack.
But that'd be kind of cool
Just
because
let
then,
CW take it over.
Yeah.
but okay, because the Marvel universe is like they're doing their own thing, and the X-Men universe, like the classic X-Men universe, has its own thing with like the mutants and the kind of being more like outlaws or whatever. And I mean, you could kind of play that into how the MCU is going now, but like I would like it to be like everything's established. Like
I still think my fan, the fan in me that would love to see the way that they would introduce it would be that not only are the MCU characters growing throughout these movies, but the world around them is also growing and becoming more aware of heroes as all these movies have progressed, and so because of that, there's starting to become a prejudice against heroes, and because obviously like Civil War is showing the negative side of it, right? And we're starting to see, I mean, even the heroes are getting jaded. Yeah, right. I would love to see the X-Men or mutants come in a way where that prejudice they need something to focus it on. Yeah. And so now the X-Men have to step up, or at least mutants in general start to get singled out as these potential threats.
And so then a mysterious mutant with psychic powers makes a university makes a school for them.
I don't want them to go too far outside of what's
I feel like X-Men's just different though. And I don't know.
If they went and followed like what they did with Powers, I think that would be really good. Because everybody was aware of all these people that had these superheroes, but no, they didn't really like it a lot. There was somebody that loved it, but they knew they caused destruction and things can happen, and nobody's gonna just sit there and be like, yeah, I'm a good guy now.
Yeah.
And if they went along that route, I think it'd be really good.
My one concern, Marcus, with them, doing the build up to the team is in order to do that, they have to shelve basically the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, because if you're building to the team, for a large period of time, because in order to do that, I mean, they're kind of stick to the 2 to 3 movies a year. I mean, that's going to eat up a lot of your dates trying to get to that point.
Yeah, but that's what they want, don't you think? I think they want to milk it, I think that would be a viable way to do it.
Does Activision own Disney?
Yeah, right? Yeah, we're back to that again, right? The Sony, Disney, Activision, Bungie comparison. I like that we bring it all full circle. Yeah. As long as Disney gets all the rights, I'm okay with it. And as much as I hate supporting the conglomerate, they've done pretty well, and it would be nice to have them all under the same house. It just would.
Yes.
It'd make it so much easier. I want them to be able to have all the resources at their disposal. But to be fair, I think I've also said before, I think that part of the reason why Disney has had such success is that in the beginning they didn't have those big titled characters to immediately grab and just regurgitate again. They had to go with something new and kind of reinvent the superhero movie. They were forced to do that. And I think that's why they were so successful. And unfortunately, they're starting to regurgitate themselves now, right? Like they're starting to get recycled a little bit now. And I'm actually really excited for this next era of MCU movies to kind of do somewhat of a clean break and start growing again, right? It's starting to feel a little bit stagnant, and I'm ready for that to happen. And if X-Men is involved with that, or Fantastic Four, I'm all for it. I would love for those characters to grow just like everything we've had the past 10 years.
Yes.
I agree.
Well, large part of the stagnation, I mean, granted, Thor completely reinvented the wheel with 3. But, I mean, these are all characters we've been dealing with for the most part for, 10 years.
Yes.
It's time to move on. As much as I don't want to see any of them die and go away and not show up in my visions that I've had since the childhood of the X-Men fighting the Avengers and all that.
Yeah. He's got to move his controller again. I can tell. It's the look. You can't
I
see
thought
his
he was
mouth.
tearing up for a second.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's crying and cursing at the same time.
Great censorship.
I don't remember exactly where I was, but
you want to see him grow also, but you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose this classic stuff that you are a fan of.
Yeah. Dude, man. You told me 10 years ago that I really, really don't want Captain America to die.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
the
Stars
but I mean, it's time.
Yeah. Well, and who says he actually has to die? I mean, he could. I mean, cameo.
Somebody's gonna die.
Oh, I think they have to, and I think Iron Man is a big candidate.
Watch it turn out that your super soldier serum, it's infecting you, and he's gonna have another movie where the serum inside him is killing him. Boom, boom. If that doesn't, that has to happen. That has to happen.
No, it doesn't. Not even a little bit.
Oh my God,
No.
that's what they have to do, dude. If I get this right, you guys owe me $1 trillion. And if I get it wrong, then you guys have to sue Marvel for me, because that's what has to happen. The super serum's poisoning him.
Oh God, it's gonna be Old Man Logan all over again.
Yeah. Yep. Cash on that.
Okay, so if we
Technically,
get
and
Old
Rogers
man
was first.
Steve.
if we get X-Men, and let's say we do get a solo movie, which X-Men
We already
would
got
you...
one of those.
Yeah. Who? And it did so well. What X-Man would you like to see, or woman? What one would you like to see first?
Cyclops.
I'm gonna let you
Cyclops
banter for
or
half a
Gambit.
second. I'm kind of in the Cyclops boat too, but I gotta pee. If Mick
You
has
know-
to pee,
I
if
gotta
Mick
say
has to
Gambit.
pee too, I'll race him.
YouTube Rewind 2019
No, I
with
don't.
Thanos.
No, I don't.
That I
I'm
agree.
good.
Wait, guys, hear me out. There's this one X-Men that not many people know of. I'm gonna describe his powers. He has these like his claws. His name's Wolverine. I think that he should get a movie because honestly,
With the hair?
not enough people know about Wolverine. And I think we should get a Wolverine movie, just a him one.
Oh, like on his own. Maybe like out in the wilderness.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
run through some trees.
And maybe he'll team up with Gambit and then he'll fight like Deadpool, but Deadpool has to be changed. I don't like that he talks, so we can just sew his mouth shut. And then you can have like Baraka blades from Mortal Kombat, and so he could just
Dude, I
have
love Mortal
he could have
Kombat.
every power. That would be a great movie.
Oh my god, how glad are you guys that I'm back?
So glad.
We're just
So-
That
talking
was the
about
longest thing in history.
the best possible. That was really fast, actually. Weirdly fast.
Just go force it out, did you?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'd be interested in Cyclops, like as like the goody two shoes cop kind of guy. Thanos on. Oh my god.
Jeremiah is really stoked for Thanos on Ice, the new Disney show. He can't wait for that.
Yeah. Gambit.
He's gonna do this.
Sends it
He's gonna
out.
do the reprise the like Sharks and Jets with the snaps. You know, with his Infinity Gauntlet. It'll be awesome.
I'm interested. I mean, Snaps removes competition. Half the competition.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in Gambit. I just have to like know more about him. But I mean, Cyclops, he has a laser beam eye, and it could be a whole movie about like control, about like, you know, following the rule. I don't know. I'm just interested. I would
Mr. Sinister in the shadows, messing with him as he's trying to, because that's basically what happened in the comic books anyway.
Yeah, I would like to see a done well Cyclops story. I would like to see him before like Xavier gets a hold of him and turns him into the Boy Scout, right? Like I'd like to see a jaded Cyclops and a little more edgy than the one that we're kind of used to.
What if he?
Well, I feel like he really wasn't like that though. Like he was kind of a Boy Scout, anyways.
Yeah, I know, but you
Like-
know, MCU takes some liberties. I'm okay with that liberty.
What if he starts out as a Captain America? Well, no. What if he starts out like how Captain America was a Boy Scout to what he is now, and he starts out like Captain America is now and goes to Boy Scout? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because we do kind of need some Boy Scouts, I think.
Oh, for sure. You need somebody. He could
So many
replace
jaded characters.
Captain America for sure.
Yeah.
I think that as far as we're going to continue, I do think that Black Panther in a way will kind of facilitate that Tony role with all the technology and constantly changing suits.
Maybe his
and that
sister
kind
will
of
get a
thing.
standalone movie. Maybe.
Who knows? I don't know. There's so much stuff up in the air. I'm super excited about it. As far as really good X-Men things, this is kind of a weird side note, but I actually have been rewatching it. Have you guys watched Legion?
No.
Some of it, yes.
There's so many X-Men shows I can't.
I absolutely love Legion. Legion is an
There's
amazing
two
show.
X-Men shows.
Yeah.
There's like
Two.
There's
Get
Legion. There's the one
it
that's up in
Legion.
space, and there's the one like that's not in space, and then there's like the Runaways or something, and then there's like
Yeah, that's the
17
new one.
There's
Yeah.
like
The
so many.
Runaways is Avengers, but
No, okay. They have Legion, Runaways, the one that's in space, and then like they have like 4 of them. There's another one that's not in space.
but only 2 of them are X-Men.
Okay, well they're all.
Yeah.
My point being,
That's true.
There's too much.
See, that
My
got
point-
I
4.
just like the movies.
My point being, if you guys can watch it, you really should check out Legion. It's phenomenal. The cinematography, the acting, the way that every single episode almost has like a music video scene where music is incorporated into it. Like it's almost got like it almost has this like Big Lebowski kind of vibe to it in that way. It's like it's just the coloring in the scene, like it's phenomenal. It is one of my favorite superhero TV shows. Easily,
Is the
hands down.
music
Legion
as good as Broly?
Oh my God, no, no.
Broly was really good.
Oh my God, Broly was so good, and we will get into all of that on the next episode.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, you
phenomenal.
will.
Yes,
That's a cliffhanger right there.
yeah. So I did want to ask real quick: has anybody seen Punisher season 2? You guys
I
been
started
watching
it
it?
last night.
My dad wants me to watch it. I'll try and find some time for it.
It's phenomenal. It is
They
top
started
3
out
Netflix
strong.
shows for me.
Mhm.
It's so good.
I watched the trailer and Jigsaw wasn't messed up enough. I was not happy with how like clean he looked.
Me too. I would agree with
I
that.
wanted him to be like just gross, you know, but
Yeah, he's all kinds of butthurt about how he looks, which I guess he's got some scars, but that's about it, right?
yeah.
If you remember the great Punisher movie, the Warzone one.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fun ride, but how like he was so obsessed with his face, and then when he was all mutilated like that, you know, it was gross. That was the gross one like you wanted.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to go in the middle with it, like
Mm-hmm.
they
I
don't
wish
want to go
would've
over
went
the
a
top.
little more to the middle. I wanted him to be a little bit more
Maybe at the end of the
A little
season
bit
he'll
was
do it
better.
again, and it's like every season he'll just. Well, I guess this is probably gonna be the last season, which kind of yeah.
Like,
I don't want to ruin anything about the Punisher, but Jigsaw is one of my favorite characters from this season. Like, they really do kind of dive into his character, and you get to kind of grow with him throughout the series. They really make Punisher accountable for being a mass murderer, basically.
Nice.
And so it's not like he just gets to get away with it all the time,
Yeah.
right? Like, he is kind of held accountable for it. There's a lot of really cool, good things in this season. It's bittersweet because I think it's the last we're gonna get, but it really is an awesome send off.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan.
Yeah,
I need to watch the
I just like
Punisher
how
movies.
strong they started with it too, because I mean it was just like right into it.
Yeah, the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the second season was just like,
Does it have
okay.
the action scenes that Daredevil season 2 had? Because I feel like the Punisher season 1 didn't quite have those like that level.
There was a few.
Yeah, I don't know that it's as action based, but I really think that's almost one of the things I appreciated.
Thanks for
about
joining
it.
us, Dad.
It's
Goodbye.
they don't focus on it too much. Thanks, Dan. Dad. Thanks for watching, man. I got plans for you too, so brace yourself.
Hey, you need to come on. You need to come on one of the casts sometime.
Yeah. We're gonna have
talk
you on
about
the
that.
show, and you can ask us some questions. It's the best I can do for a meet and greet so far. So we'll get together with you.
We'll talk about it in Discord.
Marcus's, he will take you to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Get the VIP package.
As far as right now, like I don't want to review Punisher or anything, but I highly recommend it. It's really, really good. For me, it goes definitely Daredevil season 2 is easily the best Netflix show. I don't know that we'll get much better than that, but things that they did with the Punisher in that made it awesome, they kind of implement those in this season again, which I think is the accountability part of it. Right?
Yeah.
I think this is like neck and neck with Jessica Jones season 1 for me. Like it's right there.
Okay.
It's really that good. I really, really enjoyed it.
Nice.
I did want to real quick, because me and Gary have talked about this, and we do a lot of movie reviews on our show, and I'd kind of like to go back to the source. So I just want to check in with Gary and make sure he's still cool with it. But we've been talking about maybe watching Citizen Kane, because it's like the go-to that everybody's
never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
I need to
Neither have
watch.
I.
I need
Nope.
to. We need it. Yeah.
But
we
it's
should.
always that one that people are like, that they compare everything to, and it was
Yeah.
like the one that started kind of the modern movie and like did all these things. And I heard
But
that
it's no
there's a
Citizen
lot of
Kane.
yeah, right, totally. That's what the
Right.
Mark people say.
And it's only like 2 hours. It's not nearly as long as I assumed it was going to
No,
be.
yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but I did happen to look it up just out of curiosity. But yeah,
And I would really like to watch it. Whoever here is on board with doing it, I would
That'd be
love
really
to
cool.
do it. I'd love to talk about it. I just
well,
want
we
to see
think
it.
we would. We don't know yet.
Yeah. And I've actually heard there's a lot of controversy just around the movie itself. Like it wasn't wanting to be. I can't remember who it was, but some big political figure didn't want it released, and so it had this like park viewing where they would go to parks and just show it for free, and like it got the ball rolling for it that way, kind of under the radar. It's like the true definition of a cult classic movie. It like started that whole thing.
Yeah.
I really feel like we need to watch it just to add it to our nerd knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's something on the horizon. On next week's episode, Jay recommends an anime, and he recommended Erased, which he was super excited about on the show, and he's not as excited about it now, but he proposed it for us to watch, and he says if we want to change it, we can.
Interesting, because that's how I felt about Goblin Slayer. Is that I was really, really excited about it, and then I watched it a little more, and I'm like, I don't like Goblin Slayer anymore.
Yeah. Is there? I know Gary's not really into anime, but
Does that the animated series count?
it's animated. I'll give you that.
God.
And it has Batman in it, so you definitely get some cool points. Like you get something for it.
But I don't know about anime points. But
yeah.
I know one that's coming out from Rooster Teeth is Genlock. It looks pretty good.
Genlock. How do we watch it?
Genlock. I heard about that.
I think they have it on YouTube when it comes out because it's coming out this month. It's
That
brand
sounds
new.
familiar.
Can you watch it, or do you
Genlock.
have to pay to watch it?
If you're a first member, you watch it as soon as it comes out, but I think they put it on YouTube as well.
Okay.
Like they do
Genlock.
most of their stuff.
I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna tentatively put that there too. Okay, so we're not gonna lock it in right now. It's gonna be a February thing anyway. So we're trying to get caught up for that.
It's very Gundam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Gundam Wing that's one of my top animes. I loved Gundam Wing.
Yeah, for me, I think my favorite Gundam was the one where it was like the boxing league almost, where they got in the Gundams and were like, they had
They had the full suits.
Yeah, they were in the full suits, and they would it would put the black spandex over them with the little sensor points, and it had the golden fist of whatever the main guy would always fight with.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was called.
Cool.
And if the arm got hurt, it would electrify your
Yeah, it would
arm
affect him inside the
lose
suit.
it.
Yeah, it was very Robot Jocks kind of. It was that same kind of mentality where it was it wasn't so much like orbital districts like the other ones are. It was like we were on Earth, and the different countries would settle disputes by having these Gundams fight each other.
That's cool.
And that was actually I think is my favorite one.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. Gundam. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Gundam. I can't remember.
Gundam boxing.
Yeah, it's almost like boxing.
Stocking robots.
Yeah,
it was one of the right after Gundam Wing too.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
I think so.
I was a big fan of that one.
Gundam Wing, I'm passingly familiar with.
Oh,
I just loved how
you have watched the
just
anime.
deadpan the
You're
dude
such a
was.
liar, dude. We caught you in the middle of a lie.
Mobile Suit ZZ Gundam.
Mobile Suit Gundam, yeah, that's what it is.
Mobile Suit Gundam, but that's just the baseline name. They all have sub names
Mobile
after
Suit
that.
ZZ Gundam.
ZZ? No.
Mm-mm.
I can't remember what that one was called. I actually really
Mobile
like
Fighter
that
G Gundam.
Maybe that is it. Mobile Fighter G Gundam. That might be it.
Future
Maybe.
century, your space colonies representing countries. Yep, Gundam fight every 4 years, settle their political differences in place of war. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Yep,
which
there it is.
which is totally the ripped off plot of Robot Jocks.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie Robot Jocks, you have to watch it. It takes place on 3 sets. The whole movie does. One of them is a stop motion claymation set, and there is a wiener chainsaw in the movie. It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how the movie almost it ends with a
Chainsaw
with a
used for
chainsaw
wieners.
wiener
Chainsaw
boner on one of the robots. It's
Robot
awesome.
Jocks.
Sounds interesting.
The ultimate killing machine. Part man, part metal.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds great.
It's so horrible, dude. It's so awesome. It is.
That
It's
sounds
basically.
awesome.
It's basically Pacific Rim, but without all the CGI, and instead
God.
stop motion, claymation stuff.
God.
It's so good, so good. It's totally worth
We'll have
watching.
to watch that after Citizen Kane to.
Yeah, for a comparison.
Yeah.
For a comparison.
Make
yeah.
it like a double
Oh.
feature.
Yeah.
It came out in '89.
Yeah, no, it's awful. It's great. It's super good. So like I said, our next episode, we are going to do a triple movie review. It was a lot of fun. Jay was here. It was really good to have Jay back. So we're going to try to do a live episode, and then the following week we'll have a pre-recorded one. I'm really hoping Jay will be here every one of those pre-recorded ones. We're going to try to get him in here as much as we can. If he has a day off, I'm going to rob him of some of his time and force him to be here with us on Wednesdays. But we're trying to make all that work. I want to keep bringing live shows to everybody out there and trying to get some more people kind of involved in the chat and get things going that way. Like I said, I have some ideas about that. I'm going to talk with Jack about that after the show because, like I said, it's all up to him. So if you aren't pleased with anything, go and specifically send your hate mail to Jack.
Yeah,
He will go through it all. It'll be awesome.
I would. I don't get much mail from me.
I want to thank
Sucks.
both of our guests for showing up.
Oh, yeah.
At Impinator and
Yes, sir.
at Slade Steel. Once again, Imp, please tell everybody how they can find all of your sweet online content.
You can find us mainly on Twitter at official SMF, and if you just look up Stupid Mythic Forest with STOOPID, I have to specify that, we'll pop up on there. And then we're also on Instagram too. That's
Oh, I didn't know
where we post most of our stuff.
What?
Yeah. Yep, we're on Instagram now.
He's got a sweet picture he just recently posted of me when he showed up for the show with Jay, and I am full on belly holding laughing in the picture. It's awesome.
Do you realize how kind of like how your face looks too? Not to be like racist, but you had kind of like an Asian laugh going.
Dude, you're so racist. You always push that racist line.
I said not to be.
Not if I
makes
s-
it okay.
yeah.
Everybody go to the Instagram and look at the picture and tell me if that is not. I mean,
You know, the
It's-
first
I hope
thing
you don't
whenever
mind
somebody
my say, but
Whenever somebody
Yeah.
says not to be racist, the next remark out of their mouth is the most racist thing ever.
usually, but that wasn't
Yeah.
that racist.
he prefaced it, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
it's
even
okay.
that Asian.
Spontaneous
It's not
racism.
like
no.
Jack
he's
is
talking
as
about.
racist.
Right? It's,
It's not that Asian.
Oh my god.
I
Oh
said
my
it wasn't
God.
that much.
Yeah. Just a little.
That's
Just a little.
basically on Twitter and on
It's
Instagram.
it's as Asian as you were racist. Can we say that?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
That's fair.
Just a little.
yeah. Just a little.
Now you have to start doing fractions.
Yeah. And I really do encourage
Could be
you,
in-
anybody listening, to please go over to Twitter. Really give Slade and Imp a hard time over there. Give them some nerd grief. They love to hear it. I would love to see the comments on there. I'll probably chime in too. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining. Mick, do you want to review your beer before we do our send-off cheers?
Oh, let's see.
Not
It's
too.
better than most. It's pretty good, just like beer. Like it's actually for
like
for
beer.
cheap. I mean, like for like cheaper beer, it's actually pretty good.
Is it
I
like
like.
is it like the Folgers of coffee? It's like that kind of beer.
Yeah, I'd say that. Like it's if you just want like a standard Northwest lager, go with Private Reserve.
Is that even Northwest?
Yeah, it's a Northwest style lager.
Okay, style, but it's
Says-
not made here.
Says it right on. Well, no, because Northwest has adopted all the East Coast stuff, so it's all IPAs and junk.
Yeah, like what I'm drinking.
Right.
Yeah.
How am I doing this?
Well, what do you want to give it? Write it down on something, Jack.
Oh.
There's that pad of paper over there, right?
I was doing my
I mean-
floating pen trick.
Let's see.
Back to your corner.
Yeah,
For
back
a
to your
normal, for being like a normal beer, I'd say 6.5.
6.5 for MGD.
6.5. No,
No,
that's like a 3. No,
That's a 3.
Henry Wineards
Henry
Private
Wineards.
Reserve.
Private Reserve. Well, no wonder it got a 6.
Yeah, it's a 6.5 because
6.5.
it's a good
6.5.
beer.
And I'm drinking Heart Science IPA by Ninkasi Brewing, made with real human hearts and also good for your heart. I'm gonna give it. It's actually pretty good, and it's held up really well as it's warmed up, which I think is a compliment, especially to an IPA.
Very.
I think I'm gonna give it. Man, I think it's a solid 7. I think it's good. I don't know that I would like race out to get it again, and I also think it's like limited for the pack that I bought, so I don't know that you can get it individually. But not bad at all. I totally have enjoyed it. It's starting to work, which is great.
Getting the job done, so that's check mark
That's right.
one.
That's why I'm
Mhm.
drinking it, so that's a good thing. So like I said, thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been a blast and a half. It's been awesome. You guys are totally
Oh,
coming
yeah.
back, whether or not you want to or not.
Nice.
And
Forced
please
labor.
keep watching, everybody out there. I really, it does mean the world to us if you comment and give us some sort of feedback. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to see change, or anything you'd like to see us, implement into the show, or anything you'd just like to see more of, please comment. It really does help. We sleep better at night. It really, really does matter. Take that subscribe button to Pound Town. It really, really does help us out.
And
So-
even increments if you haven't subscribed, and odd if you already are subscribed.
Yeah. Like, we always like to bring a little math into the show because everybody loves math.
This is a math podcast.
That's for you, Gary.
We got science first. Now we're on math.
Yep.
Somebody teach me English.
It's an educational show. I think people missed that. It's all about education.
Yeah, sure.
EBS should be calling you at any time.
Yeah.
So before you do your cheers, I want to tell everybody the storyline for your the movie that you suggested, The Robot Jocks.
Oh, like the synopsis?
So the storyline is post World War III. War is outlawed. In its place are matches between large robots called robot jocks. These matches take place between two large superpowers over disputed territories. The main character, Achilles, is a pilot in one of these large robots.
Oh, wow.
The plot revolves around him and a match for the state of Alaska.
Yep.
So,
like the winner gets the state of Alaska?
Just for the state of Alaska, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, what is it, Rocky 3? Is that the Dolph Lundgren one?
4.
I
think it's 4.
Whatever one has I will break you, right? It has the Dolph Lundgren in it. It's basically that, but in big robots.
I'm sure that the fact is that his name is Achilles is very relevant, and it's actually an allegory to the Iliad. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a phenomenal movie. It's the movie that I rented from the local video farm down in town here enough times to where I'm pretty sure I was the one that like ruined the movie. Like it was ruined in parts, and like it's so horribly awesome. I totally recommend it to people.
And one of the characters is Hercules, so I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think Hercules might be the guy that fights Achilles.
So they just say Greek names is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
that bothers me.
Yeah, Achilles, I challenge you. Like it's awesome. It's so good.
Arnold's in it,
and it's 3 sets, man. It's It's his like the quarters where they sleep, right, and they like eat and whatever. Yeah. It's the one room that they train in, and then it's the battlefield, which is totally like stop motion kind of claymation fighting.
Nice.
I guess also there's a set of them in the robot, so maybe 4.
That could just
but that's about it.
That could just be the training quarters with the lights dimmed or something.
Yeah.
Or just with like extra lights hung up. Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody stopped this episode before the end and missed out on this push to watch Robot Jocks, you missed the best part.
There's something even better. What do you think the estimated budget was for that movie?
Oh, God.
$12.37.
Yeah, it can't be that much.
For 1989, what do you think?
1989.
12,000. 20,000.
I'm gonna say, God, $80,000, $100,000.
$10 million.
$10 million? Wow.
That's the estimated budget.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes.
In 89?
In 89, yeah. But
Well,
they grossed
I think
1.2, almost 1.3 million.
Ooh, that's not enough.
That's not good.
I'm doing the math right now.
They should be wanting to separate from them and send them on their way.
Yeah, right.
Bringing it back full circle.
EA is on their way to just chop them down.
And I'm telling you, watch the movie to be worth it because $9 million of that was spent on this buzzsaw wiener on one of the robots.
I'm excited.
Totally worth checking it out.
Nice.
Okay, so let's do the cheers. Thank you so much, you guys. This was a blast.
It was.
To all the nerds.
Through all
the
buzz.
Bottoms
up. Let's get Nerdbuzzed.
Nerdbuzzed.
What happened, Jack? What'd you do?
Oh, Jack.
That was
wow.
Talking about beer.
Jack.
Oh my God! Everything went wrong. It did the intro video. Dude, it didn't do the right hotkey.
Marcus and Jeremiah.
Like I said,
You're on Nerdbuzzed.